Watch Who.
Hello, and welcome to the To Watch Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm... Oh, Mark.
You're new to Who.
No, I'm still
and you're watching for the very first time.
I'm still debating this. I'm still up for debate
Well,
right
I'll
now.
say that you're watching these for the very first time.
This is still an
For
ongoing...
the very first time.
And it's a special episode. It's 3 Watch Who today, as we have our guest, Peter, also known as Uncommon Pilgrim on Twitter. Welcome.
Yes. Hello, thank you.
So sometimes there's a story that needs a bit of extra fan help as we talk through these, as Sarah watches them. And I think today's story does need some extra fan help this time. Support. As it's, well, not controversial, but...
I did not enjoy it. I'll just put this out
I think
there.
it's definitely
we've gone straight there already.
I think it's definitely divisive.
Yeah.
So, welcome, Peter.
Thank you again.
So how long have you been a fan of Doctor Who?
Since Christopher Eccleston's series in 2005.
A new Who fan?
A New Who fan. Although New Who introduced me to Classic Who. And, well, basically, having finished Christopher Eccleston's first series, I thought, well, before David Tennant makes his appearance at Christmas, I'll sort of speed watch every single Doctor Who and sort of catch up.
Oh my
so I just sort of assumed that I assumed it would just be readily available in some lovely packaged DVD box set or something. And this was in 2005 when I think every story was available, but some were available on VHS and some were available on DVD, and it was a bit patchworky. And so I think I went on eBay basically after the last episode of Christopher Eccleston, got the first 2 William Hartnell stories, 3 William Hartnell stories, and then realised there was like a gap where Marco Polo should be.
Yeah, we've all had that moment.
So it did that sort of rites of passage that fans go through, and then started to go out of order a bit and sort of dabbled in other eras. But I think I did. I mean, when I went through the first Doctor years, I did sort of do it in order, I think.
It's like watching Unearthly Child first. That is...
Well, I know.
And, I don't have every single DVD. I assume Mark does. But BritBox helps.
Yeah. Mark's collection scares me.
Well, you see, I got all the VHS and then I got all the DVDs. Yeah.
And that's the problem. I fell out of love with it. Like during when I went at uni, when you're trying to be all sort of cool, I sort of sold on my VHSs and the DVDs that I wasn't that arsed about.
Yeah. So
I was sort of left with like the classics. But a lot of them I'm watching for the first time now, maybe in about 10 years or something. So I'm not quite new to Who. But
I loved that you said Mark's reaction at you saying that you sold your stuff. Mark's like, I got rid of, in order to save space in my flat, I got rid of all my cases and just kept the DVDs in like sleeves. I was like, I'll just keep them in like a folder thing. And like, who looks at the Mark like nearly died. He was like your
you have to have them on the shelf.
No,
and,
Mark, you have many DVDs. Do you have? Do you think?
Oh, I don't know, quite a lot.
I reckon
with VHSs especially, it was the space. It was just like
but Mark
I did get rid of quite a few of the VHS ones. I only kept like the special ones. I was just about to mention Edith because you put that amazing picture together of Edith and the First Doctor. So
fucking Edith,
like that was amazing.
I've been on furlough for the last 5 months. I mean, this is the loose end I'm at, in that I'm sort of photoshopping Edith into the TARDIS console.
No, that's great. That is brilliant. That is good content.
His
that
day.
level of furlough.
The fact that we are still
I can't believe we're still talking about her.
No,
actually.
you are still talking about Edith. Like, you bring her up all the sodding time.
I just never noticed her before. All the times I watched the Time Meddler, she just wasn't there, and then suddenly
there
she was.
She is offering her mead and
yeah.
Yeah. honestly, her
Anyway.
and
And
Katerina.
I think she appears at a point in the series when the Doctor's in need of.
Mead?
He's got a spare space in the TARDIS, isn't he? He's got rid of Barbara.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, enough of the Edith talk. We're in the years of
I just had to mention her.
Dodo and
Yes.
Stephen. And
Yes,
the 60s.
Right. So, yeah.
I think the 60s is just... I think I was quite surprised when I sort of took a punt on getting a VHS of An Unearthly Child. And I sort of pictured it being maybe even more primitive than it is.
Yeah, I was the same.
And I sort of just expected it to be like a backdrop and maybe two people standing in front of it. A bit like your studio setup, just sort of two people in front of a curtain. I think I just sort of admire it. Like,
Yeah.
and I do have a bit of a soft spot for like Car Crash Who. I'm just slightly fascinated by, and it's the same with films. I think I'm just fascinated by what leads to, like, I'm like, Web Planet, how did it get made? But I love it for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I can't.
I think I needed to be fighting in the Web Planet's corner.
Yeah, none of us liked that one, did we?
It was just so hard. It was just really hard. Like still up there as like, ugh. But also, I feel, no, this got better. There was a point right early on in this, and I turned to you and went,
"Oh, did you hate it that much?"
Okay, well, let's get into it. Let's get into this, because actually, first question I wanted to ask you, I'm just going to go straight in with the Gunfighters talk here. At what point did you realise that the song was going to continue throughout the whole story?
It was like halfway through, I'd say, the first episode, and it just kept going on. And I was like, because that's when I turned to you, I think, and went, Mark, why?
So come you coyotes and howl at the moon till there's blood upon the sawdust in the last chance saloon.
Oh my God.
I think it's when it starts being narration. I mean, at the beginning, it's just sort of like, hey, this is set in the OK Corral. And then suddenly it's telling you, I don't know, Johnny Ringo's walking across the road. Like,
but it doesn't, I said to you, it doesn't link to, like, it's so, sometimes it's so off the story. Like, there'll be like in a really like energetic moment, and then you get that, like, I can't even remember it anymore. What was it? Give me a tune, Mark. Send me a song, Mark.
We'll get to that. Yeah. So,
but
I just wanted to know. I wasn't sure. Like, the style is so different, and I think fans
that annoyed me. That song, that whole thing annoyed me more. It was like nails on a chalkboard every time. I was like, shut up. Honestly,
I feel like I've gained something fresh from having watched it this time, because I sent a random sort of video clip I taped on my phone to Mark the other day, which was I'd watched the 1957 film about the OK Corral called Gunfight at the OK Corral, and this is basically a piss take of that.
Right.
It's basically, rather than being a historical, it's Doctor Who spoofing on a film that was out 8-9 years ago.
Yeah.
Which was something that I'd never got, but that has the narration sung throughout the film. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's maybe a reference that people at the time would have been like, oh, saw that film, I get that.
Honestly.
It's completely lost on us.
And you said as well, like, whenever that music came on and they had to do for ages really slow moments, like, to fill the gap.
It does slow it down, yeah. And I think this story is known for that song. I think fans are like, oh, the Gunfighters, it's the Ballad of the Last Chance Saloon.
Do you know who sings it as well?
Yes.
I mean, assume Mark does.
Yes, only because we talked about it, because I was like, who is it? Like, because it annoyed me so much, this song as well. So by like the second episode, I'm like, who is this person? I hate them.
Could you recognise it?
No,
like,
as soon as you said, I was like, yes, it's what's the name of it again?
Come Outside.
Come Outside, but what's the name of the dog?
Pippin.
Pippin. Yeah, I was about to say, I didn't know whether because I don't know how old you are, but I know that's very much like, look up, look down, look all around. And I don't know if she sang the theme tune.
Look up, look down, look all around. Up in the air or on the ground.
as soon as like you said that, I put her voice to it. I was like, yes, and I didn't hate it as much then, but it almost made it more annoying because now I had a face to the voice.
I knew Lynda Baron off that TV programme, which is a children's programme in the early 90s, Come Outside, for any of our overseas listeners. But yeah, I reckon I know every word of the song, but I didn't know the name of the programme. So I just Googled the lyrics and there she was.
That is such a you programme, Mark.
What?
Like I can imagine you loving Come Outside. I didn't watch Come Outside until I was much older.
No, I didn't. I didn't watch it when I was younger.
I can imagine you loving Come Outside.
No. I mean, I haven't like watched every single episode or anything. I know it.
I feel like in school, I feel like in like infant school, I had it on VHS and they'd keep playing it on rainy days.
Oh,
it's that kind of
thing. Yeah. Can I read? Oh, you haven't done.
Oh, is this Doctor Who magazine you've got?
No. I asked Mark about this, and he said that there was an episode. You haven't said your experience yet, Mark, of this episode of.
Oh well, I mean, I first watched it on VHS in the box set with the Time Meddler and the Sensorites.
As did I.
But
what a ride!
I don't think I knew about like.
I think it was quite a lovely looking box.
Yeah, it was a massive box. Yeah.
Is this the one that kid stole from you?
No.
What was his name?
What, my friend Ross at school?
Ross at school.
No, he didn't steal it.
Imagine stealing the box set and being left.
Some kid, some bastard child called Ross stole one of Mark's VHSs,
No, he didn't.
and now he doesn't have a complete set.
There's one that he never gave back that I lent him, which was Remembrance of the Daleks
Stole.
from the tin.
Well, yeah.
That's
I wouldn't mind. It's probably been released in about 8 different formats.
Yeah. That's the only one he never gave back. He did give all the others
Ross. I don't like Ross. Never met him, but I don't like him.
back. I'll track him down for the podcast. Do an interview.
Interview with Ross. Ross.
No, I have generally
Maybe
tried to find
when you
him,
get to Remembrance of the Daleks, there you go.
Yeah. He needs to be on that episode. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Anyway,
Go on, Mark. Tell us.
I was going to say let's
No, you're
go
telling
into the
us.
story.
You were telling us. You were going to tell us some stuff. You told me.
Oh, yeah, about your first experience
Your
on
first
VHS.
experience.
Well, I was just saying I didn't know anything about the story. I didn't realise the song was in it. It was all new. It was
How old were you?
17,
Oh,
maybe.
yeah.
Like I didn't know anything about it at all. So, but it was interesting because there's so few Stephen and Dodo stories, like on video.
And surviving ones, yeah.
Surviving ones. So it was the Ark, which I'd seen before, and so it was good just to see that team in a story. It was just interesting to see like a Dodo story.
It is sometimes really fascinating, the stories that exist, and I know that a lot of people maybe feel bitter towards it because it exists.
Oh, but I was saying, imagine if this was missing, it would be even worse. You wouldn't know,
Well, you can get the audio only on CD. I mean, even the existing episode, Sarah, you can get to listen to in the car. And I think there's a track at the very end of the CD which is just a compilation of Last Chance Saloon.
No, I cannot think of anything worse. It's so depressing.
Imagine if it came up on shuffle.
I'm going to read, because you read it to me, Mark. Hang on. The Gunfighters is in some ways the most ambitious story Doctor Who ever attempted. A Western with mostly British cast recorded in a tiny television studio. That's true, because they have a horse. Well, they had 3 horses, didn't they?
I think that's on film. The horses are on film, aren't they? Separately. Yeah.
What do you mean?
But, I mean, they tried, and it does look good.
What do you mean they're on film separately?
You know when they do filming, like, so you know when Ian has his fights and it's done.
Oh right, that's what you
studio.
mean. For some reason, when they've been like CGI'd horses in, I was like, what?
They film those bits separately on a different day, and then they go into the studio.
I do always find it's always a bit of a challenge to when you're watching with somebody who isn't maybe used to the technicalities of archive TV, explaining, so this was pre-recorded. Because all that was filmed maybe like 2 months before when William Horton was doing something else.
So, actually, there is a moment, because the gunshotty scene, whatever.
The end, yeah.
Yeah, that is very obviously not in the studio. And it's so obvious because you can see the film
a lot
just
of cuts and everything, isn't it?
it just looks completely different. The quality's better, everything about it, and it's just really funny to see because we were like, oh yeah, that's different. Like as soon as within like a second, 2 seconds, it didn't even need to start knowing what was happening. We didn't even know it was a good like. Well, oh yeah, that's so
right.
We're on a set now.
I mean, you get that on like even like early episodes of Only Fools and Horses or Faulty Towers or whatever.
Yeah.
As walks outside, suddenly everything's grainy.
Well, should we go through like we usually try to do in sort of story order, and then I'm sure
we should try, shouldn't we? Yeah.
Things will be discussed as we go along, I think. So, what did we have last time? The Celestial Toy Maker. We left the Celestial Toy Maker, and the Doctor tried some of Cyril's sweets.
Oh yeah.
And your prediction was?
I said future. Actually, I think
you thought future.
Yeah.
Because Celestial Toy Maker wasn't one thing or the other, really, was it? It was what fans call like a sideways story.
I was about to say sideways.
I can see your mouth in it.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's true.
Sideways.
So then we end up in the Wild West.
Did not expect that. In fact, I said to you because the title. So I first of all said because the title was like The Doctor Takes a Holiday or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, a holiday for the Doctor.
There we are.
I mean, he's been taking a holiday quite a lot recently.
He has had a
yeah, absolutely.
And I said, do you think it's sort of a? I mean, yes, the guy is called Holiday.
Doc Holiday.
Doc Holiday. But also, do you think it is sort of a play on the fact that the Doctor hasn't been around much?
When you're watching the episodes in order, I mean, what I've started doing since I was furloughed in April is watching every single sort of William Hartnell story and subsequent Doctors sort of from the start. And I think that's one thing that really struck us in that, like, you reach series 3, but halfway through, like, you sort of expect William Hartnell not to be there more than rather than actually be there.
Yeah.
So, actually, I think you see for all 4 of these, isn't he? Like,
he doesn't actually have a holiday. Yeah, he's in all this.
Because you've said that actually, watching it
in order. Yeah, that's what I found. In order, you notice how he suddenly disappears like that. Whereas if you're just picking Sensor Ice off the shelf or something else, you don't notice when you do that. Yeah, and you're just like, oh, he's not in those episodes. But if you watch it in that order, for especially this season, it's just really noticeable.
Yeah.
And, he was a hand in the Celestial Toy Maker and, all of that stuff.
Well, I think this is sort of like one of William Hartnell's, like, performance-wise, he's really having fun.
He loves comedy.
When he gets comedy.
Yeah.
Like in The Romans, which I also love. I think he's just having a whale of a time. He's getting to do something other than be sort of grumpy and shouting.
And it's nice at this stage as well, even, in season 3, which is a bit more hectic for him. He can still do that. Did anybody else not know? Like, if you asked me about that, I wouldn't have said that was a real thing or these were real characters. I had to look this up on Wikipedia about the Clanton brothers and Doc Holliday. I had no idea this was based on reality.
I thought it was because that is their thing.
But like the names of the people and everything, I didn't realise that they were actual.
The names are real.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Having watched the sort of 1957 film like the other day in preparation for this, basically the film's bullshit. Like, it's the characters, like the people who die at the OK Corral in the film aren't the people who died in real life, and because the Doctor Who story is based on the film rather than real life, it just the same people die in the film. Basically, it's just ripping off the film. And there's, as Mark told you about production subtitles before.
No, no. He tries to keep as much away from me as possible to keep it simple.
It's like an option on the DVD to watch it with like behind the scenes information. It'll be like Lynda Baron carved out a career as and she was also in Open All Hours. And
I think I'd like that. But you're probably hoping I even get the story right now. So.
I don't often watch stories with it because I find that you're just reading rather than watching on screen. Yeah. But with this one, it basically kept saying, this scene has a parallel in the 1957 movie Gunfight at the OK Corral. Which it adds like Kirk Douglas, but Lancaster. It was a big deal in its time, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that all these names like Doc Holliday and White Earp and everything like that, I think it'd probably be sort of like just household names. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I didn't know that, and now I know they're real. I feel like this story is just like a Mythmakers or a Romans in the same
and
kind
even
of way.
I mean, historically, it's probably the closest that an historical story's been to when the series is produced, and that this is taking place in like the 1890s, 1880s, 1890s. So it's only like 70 years before, and it probably gets. I mean, Marco Polo was probably more accurate to real life than this was.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It annoyed, how Western it was annoyed me. The music annoyed me. So much of it annoyed me.
Maybe, I think it's just overcompensating the whole time.
Yeah.
For the fact that it isn't a West. It hasn't got American actors.
Yeah. It's like, it's so trying to be Western all the time. I did get a favourite character though.
Okay, yeah. Should we...
I think I could predict this.
Go on, who do you think it was?
I think you might be a barman.
Yes, it was! It was!
I think he's everybody's favourite character from the story.
So I'd literally just gone to Mark, like, I love Charlie. Like, I think he's great. And then he got killed.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I've just...
Well, that was another thing. I don't know if this means anything. Like, in the film version of the OK Corral, like, I think it's Wyatt Earp is going around calling everybody Charlie. I think it's like, it must just be a term of endearment in the Wild West or something.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I see.
I was going to do an American voice thing. But basically, he was walking into a barber's and calling somebody Charlie. Then he'd be like, I don't know, go into the stable and call the person looking after the horse Charlie. I mean, I assume Charlie is actually the barman's name. Otherwise, that whole memorial service that goes on.
For Charlie.
Poor Charlie.
I was so sad. But I'd literally gone to you, I don't know, like, I really like Charlie. Charlie's like saving this episode. Charlie's the best thing. And then he got shot. I was like, what?
He knew Charlie's name and he spoke it out loud. Now Charlie the barman has gotten a shroud.
I mean, he's really given the small amount of screen time he has. I think the actor creates quite a sympathetic character. So good. So
He
good
makes
on
a great
him.
impact.
Charlie is your Edith.
Charlie is my Edith. Fucking
That's
Edith.
what it is.
I
That's
cannot
what it
believe
is.
you're bringing Edith
I'm just
up
saying
still.
that's what Charlie means
How
to
is
you.
Edith still coming up?
Imagine them travelling in the TARDIS together. That would have been wild. Maybe Edith could have settled down around now.
Do you know what?
The barman.
Edith, again going back, is similar to Katerina. Wouldn't have had a clue. Just putting that out there, Mark, would just been useless. Okay, drop Edith.
Okay.
So, drop Edith.
Okay, well, going back to the beginning. So Stephen and Dodo are really excited that it's the Wild West. Out of character excited, I would say.
I would say it was similar to, I love boats.
Yeah, I mean, Dodo maybe, but Stephen seems very excited about it as well.
I mean, we don't know anything about Dodo anyway, do we, really?
No.
I mean, we know she's, like, from London.
It's so...
But we like that she's really excited and, like,
she's
enjoying stuff.
Yeah, she's living life.
There is that, at least. But I was just surprised that Stephen was suddenly wanting to dress up and...
He was
Clothes
loving
Watch,
it.
can we just say that they are terrible
they are
outfits.
awful.
I mean, perhaps, I'm assuming every little boy in the 60s wanted to be a cowboy. Just like, superheroes are the thing now.
Yeah.
So,
but it's bad, though. It's like what is it? Silver? Like, I don't know.
Not silk, but like polyestery,
it's just
silky.
The doctor's taking the piss too, though. So, I mean, I think supposed to be in on the joke, I think.
So, but the doctor at least looks like the rest of them, which he's supposed to, because the point is, like, Stephen doesn't look like he's supposed to be there. His outfit looks like a fancy dress costume.
Well, there's only so much in the TARDIS wardrobe. Right? I mean,
Hey, what was the missing episode where we don't get to see the TARDIS wardrobe?
Oh, Vicky goes in the TARDIS. In the Mythmakers, Vicky goes through it.
Yeah, there's an episode where they go in.
Dress?
Yeah, she gets all that stuff from there.
Yeah.
Maybe it was in the Crusade, that guy that made all the clothes in the Crusade.
Yeah.
Well, it made some cowboy outfits.
There is a missing episode, isn't there, where they go in the TARDIS wardrobe.
The Doctor, for some reason, whatever it was that Dodo was wearing in the Ark, that was also in the wardrobe.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Terrible.
You did not
Terrible.
like that.
And she chose that.
I loved
Out of
it.
everything.
I liked it.
And then we get this whole mistaken identity with the Doctor and Doc Holliday, which is nicely set up. Again, a bit like the Romans, or it's that kind of setup, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but it was at this point I had to pause the DVD and explain.
I was very confused.
What was going on, and because you got the Clanton
really?
brothers, you got the Clanton brothers and their friend, played by Shane Rimmer.
I don't know any of the characthers' names.
So that's why I was like, they're free. I've met Shane Rimmer though. I've met Shane Rimmer.
There we go.
Thunderbirds guy.
Thunderbirds guy, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he gets shot in episode 2, maybe.
Something
he's not
like
in
that,
it as much. And we were trying to work out, because on the DVD, I thought he put Cheers Mark, but it looks like Cheerio Mark. It was about, he did die about 6 months after I met him.
I think
maybe he's just like Cheerio. Maybe that's his
just
Cheerio. But it doesn't look like Cheers. I don't know what he's put. Cheerio Mark?
It's definitely an O on the end.
Yeah, Cheerio Mark.
It looks like Churro Mark.
So long.
Yeah, there's an O definitely.
But I feel really sad because
is he like I can't remember which one he plays. Is he like the American one?
Yes, basically. Yeah. Yeah.
I think he might have been Canadian or something.
He's with the Clantons at the beginning. But you see, now I appreciate him in the Gunfighters. When he signed this and I met him, he was just there, and I was like, okay, sign this.
I think he's narrated the audiobook of the Gunfighters as well, because I was sort of like, I was hovering over that on Audible at the weekend, and I was sort of like, how much research do I do?
Yeah.
No, I can't be asked to listen to the Gunfighters as an audiobook.
No, don't do it to yourself.
But yeah, Shane, obviously, he's the Thunderbird's voice as well, of one of the Thunderbirds. I don't know which one. But he had a little table, and he had all his Thunderbird stuff, and he was sitting there with his wife, who was like helping sell all his stuff, and they were just sitting there very happy with their little table of things.
And then you went up with your Doctor Who.
And I just went up with that, and he said cheerio. So
Cheerio. So weird. Like the whole signing thing still blows my mind.
So what happens next?
There's a lot of characters, isn't there? Yeah.
Yes, there are a lot of characters. So it's because I'd seen it, a couple of times before. I sort of knew who was who, but I had to explain to you.
You did.
What was going on? But you got the Doc Holliday and the Switch.
Once you explained it was fine. Yeah. It's just very West.
Is it that all the characters are quite easy to get mixed up?
No, I think it's very Western, and you're sort of trying to figure out who everything is, and they're trying so hard to make it work that I just sort of like blurred, and to the point where I was like, what is this story? What is actually happening?
Doc Holliday is quite distinctive. I mean, here, and like Kate, who's like the only...
those two, you can follow that. It was just, for me, it was the Clanton brothers plus Shane Rimmer, whoever that is, in the bar. What they were talking about, and then you find out that they're after Doc Holliday, and once you get that,
it's fine. They're really trying to put on these accents, and they're really trying to be Western, and I was just like, what is happening? Like, what are they after? I said, what are they doing?
Yeah,
I don't get what their goal is here.
Well, through the special features on the DVD, I learned that they did actually turn down a few American actors who were actually American.
Oh, really?
And were quite well regarded. So maybe they just wanted it to be a bit naff. I don't know. Maybe they just wanted that to be funny, but it sort of backfired. I don't know.
It's weird because when I came over, Mark had it on with I
put the DVD commentary on for a minute.
And they were all saying that they didn't enjoy the experience.
Well, Peter Purvis didn't,
yeah.
But that's because, so we get onto the end of the episode where Stephen's singing and Dodo is playing the piano. Oh my
gosh.
Which...
Yeah, I can plonk a few things out.
That moment.
I was like, what is she doing? I can plonk. And then Stephen, who apparently can't play, he sits down. He's just as good. I was like, what are they all on about in the 60s?
That's
with rings on their fingers and bells on their toes, the girls come to Tombstone in their high silk hose. They'll dance on the tables or give you a tune for whatever's in your wallet at the last chance.
Stephen is a space pilot from the future. He does not sing in westerns. It's just not part of his character.
I've noted something else down from the production subtitles on the DVD, which is that originally written, Dodo and Stephen's roles in the act were the other way around. So Stephen was the pianist and Dodo was the singer. Jackie Lane couldn't sing, and I mean,
that makes more sense. That makes more sense to me.
But then, must have just been pissed off for the whole.
But then it is more comedic the way it is that Stephen's singing. But it just, I really don't like that moment.
There's a documentary, like a quick half-an-hour documentary or something on BritBox, which sums up the first Doctor era, which I watched after having finished all the first Doctor episodes. Which I think it must have been filmed it for the 50th anniversary. So it's got interviews with David Tennant and Matt Smith, and John Barrowman chooses like that particular scene in the Gunfighters as his sort of craziest ever Doctor Who moment. And I feel like he overeggs it a bit. If anybody has BritBox, track that down, because I think John Barrowman gets way overexcited about Gunfighters.
Don't forget, what was it, the most ambitious, what did it say in the sleeve? The most ambitious Doctor ever.
Yeah, but come on.
Even include
But what if Ian and Barbara are in that situation?
It
just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen.
I bloody love that.
But it's not.
Imagine Ian.
It just wouldn't happen. It would not happen. Ian would get a gun out and shoot them all.
Oh, no. Ian would sing. Ian would sing. And he'd be the voice of an angel.
No, he wouldn't.
Yes, he would.
Is it because like Dodo and Stephen are sort of a bit of a blank canvas? I mean, Stephen's been with us a while, and we know he's a space pilot and he's quite argumentative.
Yeah.
The thing is, you going about him being a space pilot, I don't think of him as a space pilot.
But he had like a cuddly panda in the first episode he was in.
Yeah, exactly. You always go on about that. When we were doing that Dalek one for forever, he never once moved the plane.
He did.
The plane.
He did. He drove the spaceship.
The spar.
The spar.
He flew the spar.
He flew the spar.
Did he?
Yeah, he flew the spar. He can fly.
I thought the Doctor did, and
they all had to go.
Sarah Super Trooper.
They all did it. Yeah.
No, I don't think he did.
Katarina tried one of the buttons.
Even Katarina tried. They all had to go. But I just mean
that. Thought she was spying it.
Oh my god!
That kind of story would just not happen. Like the situation that Stephen and Dodo are in, doing that would not happen in season 1 or season 2.
The series has evolved.
Would it just show? Yeah, but how has it evolved?
It's become more experimental. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's become more childlike? I would say since Dodo's come.
I mean,
it's aimed at a younger age group. I'm going to put that out there.
With Dodo's character, yeah. I mean, the Toymaker one was, pretty terrible.
So if you think about when we had the Dalek stuff, how grim that was, some of it, and we've not really had anything like that since Dodo's been in. Everything's been quite simple, fun, very Steve's been in a stripy jumper.
I mean, after I think the Massacre was about as unfun as you can get. I mean, I like the Massacre. I respect the Massacre as a very well-produced piece of telly. And it looks like it was well acted and everything like that. But it is sort of a kids' Saturday TV program, and sorry for saying it's for kids, but I feel like the Gunfighters, it's pretty you should watch it. And
there's no threat, even with people being shot and stuff. It's not gruesome. It's the adventure. It's the Wild West shooting, isn't it? Even when Dodo gets captured by Doc Holliday, and
it doesn't
feel like she's in any actual danger.
She's never in danger,
even though she's taking a gunpoint.
It's taking off the cliches, isn't it?
Yeah,
and you even said yourself,
she doesn't act scared. She's not screaming or. This is
a story that they would have known in that time, the whole idea of it, and the whole Western thing. So they would have known this, and it is supposed to be a bit of a spoof, perhaps. Since we've lost the grown-ups of Ian and Barbara, things have.
I think even Sarah was a woman.
Yeah.
Whereas Dodo is very much a child.
Yeah.
She stands up in every story. So she stood up to the Monoid in the Ark. She has a go at the Celestial Toymaker and those characters. In this, she shouts at Doc Holliday. She threatens him with the gun at one point.
That is a really good scene. I think that's her best one.
Yeah, I really like that. In every story, she actually says, hang on a second.
Yeah.
She's not scared at all. That's what I really like about her.
I think it's going back to the bullshiness of Vicky, I think.
Yes.
In that Vicky enjoyed it, and she was very much like, I can imagine Vicky getting very excited about the Wild West. Like
Vicky, though, even when Vicky joined, I saw Vicky young, but could become a woman, if that makes sense. Like, I could see her grow. Does that make sense? So when she, however, like, random it was that she went and got married off, like, however badly it was done, it wasn't beyond the realms of possibility for that character. I cannot imagine that with Dodo. I cannot imagine Dodo suddenly falling in love. I just can't. Like, I can't imagine her like suddenly getting swept up. There's not been anything, not really. It would just be like childlike love, and it wouldn't be like.
She's a bit Susan-y teenager, isn't she?
She's very teenagery, but doesn't look it. Let's not forget that.
with less screaming.
Yeah, she doesn't scream. Yeah,
she doesn't scream. So she's got the bullshiness and fun of Vicky, but the childlikeness of Susan. But Susan, at least, I mean, what was frustrating with Susan, other than like this, that's what used to annoy us about Susan, was the screaming. But it was the fact that you'd be like, oh, come on, just like, you're just about like growing up, and then you scream like a child. Like, you do not have that with Dodo. And I said this, like, Dodo, you know who she is as a character. You're like, this is who, I've no doubt about who she is. But that is why, whereas Stephen, I've for ages been like, I don't know who he is. I don't know. I'm very set. Who is he? I mean, like,
so turn a bit Nicky Graham there.
Who is he? I'm very set right off the go who Dodo is.
And she's separated on her own.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed for the first time this time around is that Stephen maintains the American accent the whole time through. Dodo just like reverts to RP. Like,
I didn't even notice that. My big frustration with Stephen, because you were so upset for ages that I didn't like him.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not that I don't like him, I just don't know who he is. He's just a really unsettled character.
But then here, he's really annoying because he's playing the idiot a lot of the time.
Shooting the ceiling by mistake and that sort of thing.
I mean, he's trying to, it's just a bit...
Do you not feel, though, that maybe that is Stephen, then?
No, because he's not usually like that. He just
But what is usually like that, then?
He's a space pilot, and he's usually argumentative, and I can't think of anything else to describe him.
But do you know what? That is Stephen's biggest flaw as a character. I think he's too mouldable.
He's a voice of reason a lot of the time. He's like always like, hang on, Doctor, we can't do this. You can't do that. Watch out, Dodo. Don't climb up there. But in this, he's just this idiot buffoon who's just...
He's very gullible with the whole lynching situation.
Oh, when they tie
backwards on a horse with a noose behind him.
In that scene.
Which one's this now?
In the where they've got him with all like the villagers and stuff all around. Apparently, Jane Tucker, Rex Tucker's, the director's daughter, is in that scene, who I met at a convention. She's from Rainbow. As in Rod, Jane, and Freddie from Rainbow.
I just assumed you like had a picture randomly with the director's daughter.
Well, no, he does. He does.
So she was at a Doctor Who convention. So she was signing Gunfighters DVDs, but I just had a photo.
I said,
and she's in that scene as like, I don't know, a child.
How like rinsing of money is this? Like, I'm the director's daughter. Let me sign that DVD. Do you know
well, no, she's in the background as well, so she technically is in it. I would have said, what was it like when Stephen went past on that horse? If I'd known, but I didn't get the chance.
If you would have met her now, yeah.
And so next time I meet her, I'll say...
Next time I meet her.
I mean, that crowd scene in that's really good. You got like quite a few extras. I think you got some fire going on.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
Going back to Dodo as well, I love her little friendship with Kate. I love that. They're like their
Yeah.
buddies, like sitting in the hotel room and chatting.
Yes, that is a nice moment. Yeah, and it shows she just Dodo
She can
just
do that.
settles wherever she is. She just put her anywhere.
I mean, when you're saying about Dodo being a girl, not a woman, Kate is very woman.
Yeah.
And you've got the two of those, which I think they just make a nice little sort of comic double act. And
Yeah, they do. They do.
reactions to
But
things
ironically, Dodo is almost giving her better advice. She's like, is this really like the man? You know, yeah, she is the child.
You're really going to marry him?
Surely am. Though over how many dead bodies, I don't rightly know.
He's an outlaw.
Oh, honey, I've known them all in my time.
the film that I watched in prep, you could have done with a Dodo, but it's just endless scenes of Doc Holliday and Kate in a hotel room arguing, and you just get Dodo in there, like she'll sort this shit out. Like,
every scene needs a Dodo.
Every scene needs a Dodo.
I love the bit when he I think they arrive at a new hotel, a new tavern, and he just walks downstairs to get some keys or something, and you hear a gunshot, and he just walks back up with a breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think he lost his appetite. Well, actually, one sort of long-standing thing that comes in here is the Doctor's pacifism or lack thereof, because he's just sort of twirling that gun around, and
He doesn't do a lot in this, does he? Really?
I mean, he's in a cell for.
He's
for an
he's
episode or two.
wrong place at the wrong time all the time.
Yeah.
And also he gets trusted. They trust him straight away. The sheriff. They're like, yeah,
Well,
you're all right.
Maybe people just didn't live to that age in the 1880s in the Wild West. I mean, they keep calling him Pop. Maybe he's like the village elder here.
Yeah. They trust
look up
him.
to him.
This guy that they've never met, they're like, yeah, you seem solid. Like, we will protect you, do anything for you, we'll listen to
That
you.
moment at the end of episode 2 where they're looking at where it's the ballad, so everything has to slow down and they have to wait for their cue, and it's just him just going
Yeah, in his face.
like that.
He's
very
like,
expressive.
He's just thinking for ages and ages, just while the song finishes and then the credits can come up. It's just
that song.
yeah.
I think that is, I mean, I like the song. I like the song and its place in the story. But I think it is slightly hilarious watching the actors slow
That's
down.
the thing. That's the problem. It
Lower
slows
the
down.
gun.
Or walking really slow from a few footsteps
Yeah.
just while the song goes on, and just waiting for the.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it was at a really high energy moment. That's when it really annoyed me. You'd have had a really high energy moment and then it all just slows for the
Yeah.
music. You think, oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you one other thing I really like as well. Sorry, I'm just waxing lyrical about the Gunfighters here. But at the end of I think this is at the end of episode 2 as well, when Stephen's about to get hanged, and the Doctor lets himself out with the prison, and they've just sort of trusted him with the key. They've just sort of put the key in the lock, and he's just they go oh, it's your cue, it's your cue, Pops.
And he just lets
sort of
himself
unlocks the
out.
key and
Is
walks
it,
out.
so Wyatt Earp, he puts the Doctor in the prison, doesn't he? Or he takes him to the prison because he's sort of got a
He knows
plan.
from-
Is that what was?
he
'cause
knows from the start that he's not
the real one. Yeah, he's not the real
Yeah.
Doc Holliday. So he has a bit of a plan.
So I think he's using him as a decoy or something to
and you have the Doctor calling him Mr. Werp.
Yeah.
Mr. Werp the whole
I
time.
don't get that. No,
I guess because it's the Doctor and he's
it's just
weird.
him being doddery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just being the Doctor, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
He's
Well, actually, he gets called Doctor Who
yes, he does.
sort of, in episode
Yeah,
1.
he goes, Doctor Who? Yes, something like that.
He says he's
You hated that. You went, ugh.
He says he's Dr. Caligari,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
which doesn't work as a joke either.
No.
No.
Doctor Who? Yeah.
no. It's just
Yeah.
And then
No.
you have Dodo DuPont and Stephen Regret.
Oh, and then we get Johnny Ringo turning up halfway through this story because you need something else. Because by episode 2, you've sort of sorted out some of the Doc Holliday stuff. You know what's going on, and they need someone else to come in now to fill up the story. I feel.
I love how as well on the next episode, I would tell you what's coming up in the next episode.
Yeah.
You get next episode, Don't Shoot the Pianist. The next episode, Johnny Ringo. All right, okay, we're meeting Johnny Ringo next week. Who presumably
people would
viewers
know.
at the time
They
might
would-
have heard of.
Yeah. I'd heard of Johnny Ringo. I'd heard of that.
It's only this week I've learned all these people are real.
I mean, I think he had naff all to do with the OK Corral in real life, but he was a person.
I was so bored at the end of episode 2. I was like, gone. So to be fair,
imagine being bored by the Gunfighters.
I was really struggling. I was really worried I was going to fall asleep, or I was about to have a strop and be like, "You need to stop this." Like, I was very close to strop territory.
That's when Johnny Ringo comes in and shoots Charlie.
Exactly.
And then things liven up a bit.
Yeah, like the only saving grace at the end of episode 2 was I like Charlie, and that was stopping me like stropping or falling asleep. Because I was...
Was that the end of episode 2 when he comes in? I thought it was
No, he comes
three.
in on 3.
Is it Johnny Ringo's episode 3, is it?
Yeah.
So
I think Charlie's...
Is he
So
shot?
I think episode 4... Yeah, I think episode 4 starts with the sort of the wake of Charlie.
No, because Warren Earp gets killed as well, doesn't he? Is that the end of episode 3?
No, that's
Warren is.
4.
I mean, I've seen...
That's 4.
Isn't that Warren Earp? Warren Earp is also my favourite.
Warren Earp's the sheriff's brother, isn't it?
Yeah, the one that gets shot.
So he's the 4th episode, I think.
I think he gets shot at the end of the 3rd, and then he survives a little bit.
Isn't he Wyatt Earp's kid brother who looks about 34?
Yes.
Yeah.
Warren Earp. He can join Edith. And
No,
Karen.
Charlie gets shot pretty much the first second we meet Ringo, because he's like, "You're Ringo," and he's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Well, it will be quiet," and shoots him.
Yeah.
Because Charlie's like, "Oh, I've never heard of you," like Endon, and
he's
Johnny
starstruck.
Ringo goes, "Oh, that's not very flattering, is it, Charlie?"
Yeah, and then just shoots him.
And I think he just can't do an American accent.
He's got great presence. Do you like Mark's looking at me like, what does that mean?
Well, it's the character he's playing as well, isn't it? He's supposed to come in and
he's got swag.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be like that.
He's got a lot of swag, and I think I love this scene as well where I think it's one of his first scenes as well where he follows Kate to wherever Kate is, and it's Johnny Ringo has seen her, Johnny Ringo's seen Kate.
Yeah. With the most depressing music again.
So they must have played the music into the studio then, surely, as it went along, as they filmed.
Yeah, I think it was all pre-recorded. It was all pre-recorded.
But they must have
they didn't have Owen Pippin there in the corner singing it live.
The actors can,
they put the record on and.
Well, the actors can hear the music. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
In that there's no post-production.
Yeah,
so whenever a dramatic So whenever a dramatic sting happens, William Hartnell knows to turn the camera and twiddle his fingers on his chin and look very sort of intrigued about it.
That face is fantastic.
When Johnny Ringo's walking up to the saloon, you can feel him sort of timing his footsteps in time with the music.
Yeah,
it's very very deliberate and
it must have helped with with the swagger.
With the swag. He's got great swag.
Yeah, he's got swag, and he's had a lot of build-up as well. You see him on the posters, right from the very first episode.
Yeah.
But he definitely helps push the story along, Johnny Ringo. For me, otherwise, it would have gone downhill quite a lot in episode 3. And then...
There's a bit of a love triangle going on as well. You've got Johnny and Kate and Doc.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Doc's a bit punching, isn't he?
Oh, he's so punching. He is so punching.
But then, by the time it gets to the sort of gunfight at the end of episode 4, things are starting to... Well, for me, it didn't really hold my interest that much. I was interested to see if Warren Earp survived or not. That's what kept it going for me.
Well, yeah, because you think he's dead. You think he's dead at the end of the third episode.
Yeah, I thought he'd been shot.
And then he's one more thing.
Yeah, so that was nice, yeah. And then you get the shootout at the end, and like we said, on film, because there's a stunt, and...
Oh, yeah, it flips over.
Yeah, you like that. You're like, is he going to fall?
Yeah, and then it does wrap up quite quickly after that.
Should we tackle the elephant in the room that is Charlie and Charlie's demise?
Oh,
Charlie.
No, Mr. Ringo. I was only saying
it. You Charlie. You say too much, huh?
I won't say nothing to nobody.
Now, ain't that just the truth? Hey, Charlie.
And I'm sorry to bring it up.
Charlie.
So you like Charlie because he interfered with, when Stephen got...
So I want to...
He tried to help, didn't he? That's why you liked him.
Charlie's a potential nominee for...
the Oscars.
Heroic moment
in the Oscars.
Because what did he do?
So he basically saves Ian's life. No, he saves...
Stephen.
Thanks, I'll start all that again.
He's an Ian wannabe.
Yeah. I'll start it again. So basically, he saves like Stephen's life because he sees that Thingy's been shot. He sees Doc come downstairs. He runs out and goes, "No, that's not Doc." He saves the day.
Doesn't he mess up the plan though? I thought he messed up the whole plan.
No. Doc goes back to get Kate, captures Dodo, and as they're walking out, he shoots that guy that we saw earlier in the end of episode 2, and Charlie's there and sees, and that's how he goes back and goes, "I've just seen Doc. That's not Doc in there because I've just seen him, and he's just shot some guy in." And he's like, "No, that's not true."
Shut it, Charlie, you're messing things up.
Yeah, and they're like, "No, you go and see." He's like, he's dead, and then he's like, and he saves the day. I also said to you, what I never understand in any Western is why would anyone own a saloon? Because all you ever see, I never see them seem to make any money. All they ever seem to be doing is giving out free booze because they're scared of whoever's, like, they might shoot them. And all their glasses get destroyed. That's all I ever see.
Well, he just mentioned that the last pianist got shot.
Yeah, that's all that ever happens in saloons. Why would anyone own a saloon?
He's got an unreliable singer. Kate's always gallivanting about.
Yeah, poor Charlie.
Just a thought I had, another really strange thing with the Gunfighters is the word sexy. The word sexy in 60s Who. Doc Holliday is like cavorting with Kate, and he's like, she's kind of a sexy lady. And you're just like, what?
I didn't realise that. I didn't notice that. I did not notice that.
That's in our 2020 mind there. We just like blurred that in.
Well, Kate is clearly a woman of
the world,
a certain profession, isn't she? Yeah, she's a woman of the world.
Yeah, she dances on the bar, doesn't she?
She does.
She does a verse.
I even said
she mimes to her pre-recorded verse.
She doesn't even move her mouth at one point. She's not even moving her mouth at one point. I said to you, I was like,
I mean, at least Purvis is singing live, isn't he? Like, I mean,
yeah.
He's doing it.
Sort of like, yeah.
And I mean, who knows what that playing is from Dodo and absolutely mental.
Just hovering her fingers, twiddly.
Oh my gosh. That annoyed me so much. Yeah, I can plonk. You can do more than plonk.
Yeah, Charlie was very sad. And I think I teased this with Mark the other day. Charlie has already been in Doctor Who, and he's played it.
Yes. I don't. Who? What's he done?
Well, this is a factoid that I learned via the production subtitles. He voiced the mechanoids, all of them.
No.
So he was behind a microphone going like, "Enter."
I had no idea.
Now you know.
I can't believe that is a new fact for me.
Didn't I?
He's the mechanoids. Charlie and the mechanoids. He's got to get an Oscar.
Charlie's a whole race of robots. Charlie is the
mechanoids.
Now remind me which one the mechanoid is.
You know the big things that fought the Daleks.
Oh, we like the mechanoids. We like the mechanoids.
Yeah, that's Charlie. Charlie's he's not inside them. I was going to say he's inside them.
That'd be amazing. Wow.
I'm
putting that out there now. Charlie is definitely up for
heroic moment.
Yeah, we might argue about it, but he's up there for me. He's a nomination.
Were the mechanoids in the last Oscars?
Yeah, they won.
Yeah, they won Best Monster.
They won Best Villain.
Wow! No, Best
Monster.
Best Monster.
Monster, yeah.
Maybe this will be like 2 wins for the actor that played Charlie.
I know.
The name of.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he is. He's still alive, isn't he? Yeah.
I have no idea. Charlie the Barman's dead.
He is. No, he's still alive.
You could go and tell him that he won 2 Oscars. If he wins.
Regarding Charlie the Barman's death, I love the fact this song, Mourning Charlie the Barman, is played 3 times.
Oh, I know, it's a bit much, isn't
twice in episode 3 and once in episode 4.
I mean, talk about padding it out.
Charlie the Barman has paused in the shroud.
That was, okay, once is enough, but...
He's mourning more than Katarina.
And deservedly so. And deservedly so.
I think, does Warren get a verse after he dies?
I don't think he does.
Maybe
But
he
no one
does.
cares about him.
No.
Like, Charlie saved their lives. And Charlie is a hero. Charlie is a hero.
He's like you get these, like, in Coronation Street in EastEnders, you get these sort of like iconic characters behind the bar. He's like the a 90s equivalent of like Beck Lynch. Like he is the centre of the community.
He is.
And everybody knows Charlie. Like
Everyone's sad that Charlie's... and also, it's the death. I mean, again, it's like, there's no blood or anything, obviously. He's just been shot in the chest and he's like, well, dead on the thing.
I love how he positions himself.
Yeah.
Positions himself.
Yeah.
And the wine, the whatever it is, the rum or whatever, is like pouring down the side of the bar.
Yeah, but he's nothing from him. Like, in any normal thing, I'm sure he would bleed or something. Like, nowadays, you'd have some blood. Like, a pool of blood would appear from him. But no, he's just like, blood.
And he has to stay there while the verse plays out very slowly.
In my head, after that's happened, they've had a lunch break and he's just got back up and gone off to have a sandwich.
Another thing I learned via the DVD is that in episode 4, they didn't bother rehiring Charlie. They just got like an extra.
And just stuck him on.
With the shroud.
Doesn't when the doctor come into the bar and he accidentally leans... Who accidentally leans on Charlie?
So yeah, Stephen leans against the bar.
Yeah, and Charlie's laid out there, and it's for a long time. They don't notice that he's just lying in the bar. Yeah. Well,
maybe they think that's just how he sleeps. Maybe they just think he's like some sort of vampire. Like he just sleeps in the bar, sleeps in the saloon.
Well,
spread-eagled.
There goes. That is Charlie. Memorable Charlie. We'll be talking about Charlie.
He's got on a shroud.
Yeah.
I will. Just to stop talking about friggin' Edith.
Talking about the bar, they've got this... We noticed in the Ark, there's a lot of high crane shots, and I think they've hired it out for these stories, because then again, you get these really nice... At the top of the stairs... Like that's
the subtitles really on the DVD point out every time there's a crane shot.
Right.
They go,
okay.
This is from camera 1.
Right.
But I think it's basically when they have a really small set to like make it look bigger.
But it's nice to have those levels, and when you see, Dodo being when Doc Holliday captures Dodo and they go back up the stairs. I mean, I just imagine just this, this sort of staircase with no. It just doesn't go anywhere, and there's no like side to it. But it does make it makes the play, the set a bit more real.
I think they use it in some other scenes as well. I'm sure, like some of the scenes on the street, and
they use it for the death when he goes
he falls
over.
off. It's probably the same staircase, isn't it? At the shootout,
taking the staircase out.
It's probably the same one.
Yeah,
but we've noticed that the last few stories.
Yeah,
it definitely adds. It makes it a bit more. I think cinematic's probably overstating it a bit.
Well, I don't know. The shootout at the end could be from any Western, I think.
Yeah, I think it's great.
It's only because Dodo's in the middle of it. If you took Dodo out of the middle of it, it's just a Western. It's nothing to do with Doctor Who. It's just a...
Well, as good as it's going to get close to a Western. I mean... I said to you, how many bullets do they have? Because all you can hear is constant bullets going. Like, poo, poo. And I was like... I'm sure these guns did not have this many bullets, and there's not that many of them here, but all you can hear is bullets constantly firing. It's a lot of bullets.
As well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously no blood. I mean, it's...
Of course.
1966 tea time.
Yeah.
But,
Great. I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. So, Sarah, did you enjoy this?
I don't think so.
Just sum it up.
Maybe I've converted you. Maybe I've...
It improved. Like, so if I took out that music, I'd have enjoyed it more. The music annoyed me. So every time I heard it, I was like, ugh. It really annoyed me.
Did you watch 4 episodes? Did you watch the 4 episodes like one after the other?
Yeah,
we did. Yeah.
So I wonder if you were to watch it 1 week at a time.
We've said this quite a lot. Like, if we were spacing it out sometimes.
I think the song in particular. I was going to say songs plural, but really it's one song. It's just the words.
If you took the song out, the whole show would be underrunning by like 20 minutes.
The song adds nothing. It adds absolutely nothing. It's pointless.
I think it adds a bit of context and background. It's just
too much. It's just a little bit too much. What if it was just a bit at the beginning and a little bit at the end? You don't need it all the way through. I think that's
all the way through.
You recap at the end, and then at the beginning of the next episode, you just say this is coming.
Yeah.
I think that's what
if it didn't have that, and it improved, it like it got like.
Sarah, you weren't the only one, Sarah, to be disappointed in the Gunfighters, because in 1966 it had a bit of a mauling.
Really?
I don't know. Do you mind if I read this memo? I think I might have sent you it the other day. So this is from Sidney Newman, who basically I won't say he created Doctor Who, but he basically instigated. He was like head of drama, and he sent a memo to the production office at the time when the Gunfighters had just finished broadcasting, and he says, "In my view, it was a very sad serial, despite the fact it was well acted and certainly well shot. The entire attack was misconceived. The use of the song was a drag. It seemed to me that every time the story began to gallop, it was slowed down to a desperate crawl by the use of the song.
Yeah.
I also didn't like the way Lynda Baron sang. Somehow or other, she could not sustain this type of ballad."
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. As a singer, like sometimes I was like,
sorry, Linda.
Sorry, Linz, but it really grated on me. It really annoyed me. I'm in complete agreement there. So if you took the songs out, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. And it got better. It improved. By the end, I was like, okay, yeah.
I don't blame Sidney Newman, though. Imagine he's created this programme in season 1, and then he goes away for a bit, comes back, and he's like, what have you done?
I mean, that memo goes on for a bit more, and I feel like the vibe you get is that it's strayed a lot from the original vision.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely,
the creators of Doctor Who has.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever want to watch that again.
I mean, I have.
Is it your favourite Hartnell story?
Oh God, no way. I mean, it's possibly one of the best of series 3, I think.
What is your favourite Hartnell story?
Has it happened yet?
Historical.
Okay.
It's got
historical.
Yeah, it's got to be an historical. It's got to be Ian and Barbara. Ian and Barbara are the glory years.
Okay.
I think it just feels at its purest with Ian and Barbara, and that whole sort of like them two parental, and got the little girl running around, and I don't know. I think just right now it's maybe the dynamics just maybe a bit off.
But
I like the Gunfighters. It's a lot of fun, and I'd never ever thought until this conversation what it would have been like with Ian and Barbara. No, I'm going to be thinking up pseudonyms for
imagine if
Ian Chester.
Imagine if Doc Holliday had captured Susan. He'd shoot her. She'd be dead in that hotel room.
She would.
It's the OK Corral boys of gunfighting fame, where the Earps and McClantons, they played out the game.
The story finishes quite quickly, and then off they go in the
cliffhanger or something.
Yeah, off they go in the TARDIS. Everyone's got changed very quickly. And the Doctor says, we've landed somewhere far in the future, and he's very sure of that.
Yeah.
A distant age of peace and prosperity.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then this, on the scanner we see a sort of a Cal or a Tsar kind of character.
A guy with a...
Does
he have a club? Or he looks
a meat cleaver.
A bit like meat cleaver, yeah, something like that.
He has a meat cleaver.
Something like
Win
that.
for another masker, guys.
And it says, next week, Doctor Who and the Savages.
Yeah.
And it's got the name Doctor Who in the title.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts, Sarah? Or where would you like it to go?
No more music, no more singing.
The Savages are here.
I think it will be... What was the term you used before? Sideways.
Sideways in time.
I feel that's a good way of describing, because I feel. Oh, look, I'm using new lingo.
Sideways.
Yeah.
We haven't had that many
You're a proper
sideways. What have we
fan.
had? Edge of Destruction is sideways.
I think
Oh,
there's only
maybe I
like
shouldn't have mentioned that. What else is there?
the Planet of the Giants. Does that count?
Oh yeah, Planet of the
Well,
Giants.
when they all turn little.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a sideways one. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe not that then. I think it will be in the future.
Well, actually, doesn't the Doctor say that? The future, the far distant future.
Exactly. So I think it'll be in the future, and I don't think it'll be rich and prosperous and all peaceful. And I think
There's a bloke there with his meat fever, isn't he? So things have obviously got pretty desperate.
And I think that the Doctor will be in it 65% of the time.
Well, you see,
it's an educated guess based on series 3 so far.
Yeah.
And he's been in all of the Gunfighters, so he needs a rest.
He needs a rest.
That's the rule.
And he
Holiday
was,
for
he
the
was only
Doctor.
a hand.
An actual holiday.
He was only a hand in the other one.
Exactly, yeah. Right, well, there we are. The
So, meat
Gunfighters.
cleavers and
Yeah, we'll see what
possibly
happens
going
next time.
sideways.
We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Well, nice to meet you, Peter.
oh, thank you. Same to you.
Thanks for coming on. And where can...
Hopefully, I've made you like Gunfighters marginally more than you did already.
I feel like I know more.
Yeah, we certainly learned.
And I like knowing
a few
that.
more facts.
I like knowing that Thingy was mechanoid.
Oh, yeah, I can't believe that. Every time, Charlie and the Mechanoids.
Charlie and the Mechanoids.
That's a good story.
That sounds like a band. It's like a 60s band. Charlie and the Mechanoids.
So where can people find you online or on Twitter? Or
I'm continuing my pilgrimage through Classic Who with I'm sort of 2/3 of the way through the second Doctor at the moment. I might be further by the time this airs. But I basically began when lockdown started, and I'm currently job hunting, so I'm racing through it a lot faster at the moment. Maybe in a month or two's time I'll be done with the classic series and on to Christopher Eccleston, where it all started. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Cool.
We were just saying, we're surprised how quick we've got through. Well, no, actually, we are and we're not. It's because Mark insists on these going out every week that we're getting through them so quick. But we're getting through it quite quick.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
So
Persevere, hang in there.
Yeah.
I know.
You've managed with the Daleks master plan. You can hack anything.
I know. Well, you can't believe we're already at season. You
nearly, yeah.
You
Nearly
can't
finished
believe that I'm watching season 3. I think is more.
Yeah. It's going to be weird when we get onto colour and
Another Doctor.
all the 80s or something.
Another Doctor.
You've got quite a bit to go before that.
Yeah.
It's so funny whenever anyone says anything like, "Oh, and this whatever," anything future, I'm like, I've got a long way to go. I'm still.
The seasons
on the
get
first
shorter.
Doctor.
The seasons get shorter. This is probably one of the longest seasons, I think. I would have thought.
Maybe it just feels like it. I don't know.
Oh, it does feel like it.
Maybe. Well, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at 2WatchWho. And we will see you next time for The Savages.
Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, dun, dun.
And the meat cleavers.
It's featuring meat cleavers. Well, we will see if any meat
Savages and
cleavers.
their meat.
If a meat cleaver appears, we shall find out. So we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Yes.
To watch who?
Eh? Doctor Who? What are you talking about?